Kalista still taken away as it is in most games, but who knows? GP off the bat from Samsung. Don't want that into the hands of Trace.
Yeah, it's his most played champion this season, and you can immediately take that off the board. He has been great on it, but hardly going to dent his champion pool. Trundle also will be removed. Possible first pick Nautilus in. You have to believe if they are taking a look at that. Are you going just to ban the Nidalee, the Kindred, and the Graves? I think that should be the draft here for Jin-Air. Or you force them to first pick the Graves. And remember that Graves is, as a flex pick, the most dangerous in Jin-Air's hands because it was Trace that pioneered the top lane Graves. He was the first to debut it. That's how they beat SK Telecom in their first best of 3. Managed to take the 2-0 with 2 top Graves games. So there's the Poppy. They want to first pick Graves. Or Nautilus.
Could be either, and either would be fairly strong here. Jin-Air taking their time with the last ban.
They have some flexibility.
They could go for the Kalista for Court JJ.
I wouldn't. If I'm Jin-Air, though, I don't really care about giving up the Kalista, honestly.
Yeah.
What is it going to be? Lulu.
Interesting.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, not something that
so Corki goes through, and Corki will be the first pick. Probably Graves for winged here. No, they're just going to let him. I would not let Ambition have Graves. I think this is a big mistake.
Well, they're just going for the bot lane, so it is the Kalista Alistar for the side of Pilot and Shay in the bot side. And this opens up some opportunities from Samsung. Missed by Jin-Air. Let's see if they're actually going to take it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Graves pick.
We'll
see how confident the winged is if he plays that Lee Sin. Of course, you can dodge a lot of the damage from Graves by zipping around with your W or trying to dodge the end of the line with your Q, your second Q, the resonating strike. By getting around the side or closing the gap very quickly, it will be that. I mean, that is so risky. I think that has been Samsung's best jungle champion.
Yeah. And now they might even get the Nautilus on top of the Graves.
Well, when you ban the Trundle, you're
exactly.
definitely going to think about taking that Nautilus.
Yeah, actually, they're going to flip to the Braum, though. So it could be a Corki Braum bot lane if that Corki does not end up in the mid lane. Of course, if it does go mid lane Corki, it'd be a lot of AD damage on the side of Samsung. So I think we're going to see that Corki into the Kalista in the bot side.
Could be.
The Lee Sin does get picked up here for winged.
And we don't know where that Lyssandra's going, obviously. Probably going to be Kuzan, but Trace has played it once this season. And you want to take that away. Even though Samsung has not been prioritizing Lysandra recently, Cube is extremely good at Lysandra. Don't want to have him take that, and it will be a Maokai and then Crown back on the Varus. Crown at least has the cleanse taken right now, assuming that it will be a mid lane Lysandra. However, Kuzan could try and pick something else.
Well, Varus does get locked in, so Corki going to the bot lane. Unless they're going to try the Varus ADC, but something tells me it's not going to be so.
No.
So
no,
final
it's not.
pick now.
Crown has been so good
or a mid laner
on this Varus. Just the incredible ability to hit long-range chain of corruptions, stop teleport flanks with it. Samsung definitely getting a Samsung comfort composition.
It could just be the Nautilus into the top lane to go against Maokai. Gnar is obviously available. Could be another one that we see come in.
Yes.
Good AoE crowd control could be good for this immobile mid laner.
It's just going to be the
Nautilus.
All
right, so going for the Nautilus, which means Lysandra, of course, will be in that mid lane. I don't think we're going to be seeing any more mid-not for a while.
This is definitely a huge protect the Pilot composition. Pilot is going to be in the late game really responsible for outputting the majority of this team's damage. They have solid engage across the board to hit the triple AD carries, but Samsung, again, going for a 3 AD carry composition. This has been their bread and butter composition this season. It's their comfort style, and they even get Ambition onto the Graves. Have a pretty good amount of peel, so it's up to Trace and Kuzan to find those flanks onto the back line, try and get back there and stop Samsung from poking them to death, and then having Pilot work his way to close the gap and really start hitting all of them with the Rend and the Hurricane.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a double teleport for the side of Jin Air, so do you have that increased potential for map pressure? Have a double TP into the bot or top lane, create some picks. And Varus, obviously not very mobile, will not be able to respond nearly as quickly. Even without the TP, Lissandra can roam well with the Glacial Path across terrain, so we'll have to keep our eye on Kuzan to roam out of that mid lane and try to get Pilot further ahead so that he can excel on this Kalista. He is a very consistent AD carry. Your favorite, if I recall correctly.
Oh God, stop.
It will never evade you. Yeah. But all right, game one, Samsung versus Jin Air. Let's get on the Rift. Noticeably, a lot more girls in there for the Jin Air team. A lot of fangirls for Jin Air. Saw them against CJ, and it was pretty shrill, I guess.
Shrill. the Jin Air fangirls versus the CJ fangirls.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you should have heard the Najin fangirls when Watch was still on the team. You missed out.
Imagine.
You missed out.
I'm surprised Flame doesn't have more.
He does have a lot.
But even like you don't hear them as much as I've heard the Jin Air girls. Maybe it's because Longshu's always just losing brutally, and they're just like, I can't even look.
Avert their gaze.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you're only attractive if you win.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
I strongly disagree based on the Watch fangirls.
Good
I have
point.
evidence to prove you
you
wrong.
You got me. All right, so it looks like we will have a matched lane swap up to the top side of the map. Wraith and Core JJ are going to get spotted.
Sapling in the brush from Cuvée.
Not going to start for the Krugs, knowing that Wraith is coming around the side.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah.
They're just going to check right there, Samsung. Not going to do anything too risky, so.
Yeah, it's a Braum level 1.
No shenanigans.
Don't want to mess with that. So we'll see how this is going to go, because obviously Corki going to be getting early damage spikes, and Kalista's pretty squishy. But they still have to respect that level 2 from Che on the Alistar.
Yeah, also the range trading at level 1. You have the Braum Q, and you have just the Corki Boss Bomb. So the burst, if you can actually proc that Braum passive plus the Phosphorus Bomb, is pretty nasty. Wing, though, going for the full clear tactics, and of course Ambition will be too. The greediest jungler.
Well,
loves his farming.
Wants to get as much farm as he possibly can, get ahead on that Graves, and then start skirmishing after he's got a couple items in his inventory. And of course he's going to have a really fast clear compared to Winged on this Lee Sin. Still a pretty good one, but Graves, AoE spread on the auto attacks, end of the line for huge burst of damage. He's going to be able to make very quick work of these camps. You can see also a ward placed by Samsung in this red pit, so they know where Winged is. So this is really good tracking for them.
Yeah, a little bit delay there on the ward placement. Be able to keep track of Wing's Lee Sin, know exactly where he is and where he's going. See him exit back over towards those Raptors, so no 3-minute level 3 gank. Makes, not like there's really an opportunity to go for it given the wave in the top side, and Kuzan poked out a little bit here in the mid lane would make it a bit risky.
Yeah. Suffering a bit of damage. Went with the Doran's Ring, whereas you have the refillable potion and that Sapphire Crystal for crowns, and just trying to get the tier as quickly as possible. So he can start stacking, because obviously that's going to hurt him a little bit. We'll see where Kuzan wants to go. Could go for the Morello Namicon, or maybe even the Rod of Ages. We've seen that today. So a couple different options available to him. Would be a double scaling lane if we get the Catalyst coming in.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to see, but the Sapphire Crystal start's super safe here, especially if you're running Cleanse. Obviously, with the only one form of crowd control, even if there were to be a gank and Kuzan had the ability to close the distance and get the Ring of Frost down on you, that really wouldn't be too threatening with the Cleanse, so you can actually play pretty greedy in your early itemization.
Both these mid laners going to stick around. We can see the recall coming in for Trace already. Just going to TP back into lane.
Yeah, QV already came back with his Double Doran's Ring. Trace just going to mirror that start. And then also, of course, he will be there with a little bit more sustain with the Corrupting Potion. So slight advantage in the itemization arena to Trace. And Wing going for a super fast Sightstone.
Yeah, so just looking to be able to dash in and around these fights. Goes in on Ambition. Takes that end of the line damage, but they're going to trade pretty evenly in the end of things.
Yeah, he still has the red buff, though, so it gets a little bit of that burn damage through. Just trying to get some deep wards in, and where is he going to go? Now, they should be playing aggressively here with that Lee Sin early. Uses Gap Closer to try and play around some of these lanes, but can't really gank a Maokai with the Nautilus. Just simply not enough damage there that's early into the game, especially when you have that Sight Zone start.
JAG gets a nice double pulverize. Poor JJ going to take a bit of damage. The Rend to finalize the trade, so very nicely played by Che. Kuzan going to go back. We'll get some information about what kind of build path he's going to go for. Crown has recalled as well. We can see the double longsword tier for him, so keeping it very consistent. Ambition takes away the small raptors. Winged, though, does get the big one with a smite.
Yep. Ambition, no wards either. He's gone for the Skirmisher's Saber. So looking to take the edge off of some of these carries in the fights. And that could be very valuable, especially against the Lissandra come the mid-game where some of the skirmishes might break out.
Yeah, if you can nerf that damage output. But we can see, speaking of Lissandra, Kuzan building the Catalyst of the Protector. So going to be scaling as well as he goes for the Rod of Ages. A little bit more damage over on the side of Crown as he has picked up those two long swords. So those piercing arrows going to start hurting, but the Catalyst as he levels up is going to help him sustain that lane. Winged is looking for a gank currently in this top side. Che trying to fish for that engage, headbutts Corki back. They get onto him. Resonating Strike comes through. They exhaust him out. Can they get the kill? The Unbreakable is blocking a lot of those shots, but it doesn't matter. Pilot gets enough stacks and he rends him out for the kill. So first blood going over to Jin Air. Nicely played gank in the top side.
Yeah, great coordination. Che with the flash pulled into the headbutt and Winged tagging him before the Braum can block the Q. So he gets behind the Unbreakable and they're able to finish it off as they go a little bit deeper underneath the turret. Really well played and well timed there by Jin Air. Not much actually that Core JJ could do about that situation for the first blood, and that'll be a nice healthy advantage in the top side for Pilots. But Ambition continuing just to power farm, gets a bunch of the minions in that top side wave as he shows up just a little bit late. Lyssandra's starting to roam, but will be seen by a ward in the Tri-Brush. No real possibility of executing that gank. Not obviously a lot of AP yet with the Catalyst.
Yeah, it would have been a really interesting gank under the tower if they did decide to go for it.
Well, they knew Ambition was in the top side, so maybe you find an angle to catch somebody out down there instead.
Yeah, or maybe even just shove him from the tower, but that is going to be Cuvée staying safe with that Maokai. Falling a little bit behind in CS, but otherwise doing a decent job.
I'm really glad that Winged is committing to this Lee Sin more and more. I think it adds a dimension to Jin Air's early game that they don't really have otherwise, and it's a special pick that either is going to demand like a pocket ban, and certainly Wing can play meta junglers too, or you get it and you have more chances to contribute to Wing's already high first blood percentage, and he can still make plays, very good plays with it onto the late game. And when we talk about champions like Graves and Varus that are vulnerable to insect kicks right into the front where they can be easily CC'd by Lissandra or Nautilus, makes a lot of sense. So Jin Air finding their own little identity, continuing to play more of that Lee Sin in the last few weeks. It's been fun to see them do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially good into the Corki now as well, since he got his update and the package came in. the Valkyrie range got shortened pretty considerably. So even Valking away from the Dragon's Rage after it's been kicked doesn't really get you out of harm's way when you're thrown into the forefront of the rest of the squad from Jin Air. So there's a lot of great follow-up from these guys. Nautilus there, pick things like with that dredge line, depth charges as well as the Fate's Call with, you know, Pulverize Alistar. So good CC layering potential here from Jin Air. Just going to come down to execution as we get into those mid-game skirmishes.
So Winged, though, he's gone for the Chilling Smite, actually, which obviously makes sense if you're going to be going for the Sightstone early. They're going to take away the blue buff.
Yep.
So 2 blue buffs over now to Jin Air. But you take the Chilling Smite because this is a Lee Sin build that says, I've got some pretty sweet mechanics, and I'm going to use Lee Sin utility to slow you down. I'm not going to go for the fast damage. I'm going for vision and jungle control, the ability to ward hop, and then the Chilling Smite so that I can make it easier for myself to ward hop on top of you or to insect you because you're already going to be slowed. I can hit you with that Q. I can get behind you and I can kill you.
Yep.
Or have my allies kill you. But as a result, not going to be the most damage, at least at this stage, before he gets that Warrior Enchant from the Lee Sin, and it's up to the lanes themselves to be dealing that damage, which with an early game Kalista and an early game Lissandra is quite viable.
Yeah. I mean, we've already seen some great Lee Sin mechanics from this guy in that game against CJ. Trace, though, really far ahead, has to use the depth charge over onto Ambition. End of the line, not going to connect. He flashes away, gets the dredge line. Is that enough to save him? Ambition going deep. He locks him up. Ambition is going to be able to dash to safety, takes a bit of damage, but the kill still comes in. So getting rolling on that Graves. We can see double longsword going to be going for the Warrior Enchant. And that's just going to send him back. So good buy coming in here for this Graves.
Yeah, Trace now has to consider whether he wants to TP right back into that lane, push it up, maybe hope that he can force a TP out of Cuve's Maokai. He's going to lose quite a few creeps right there, and that'll give Cuve a little bit of a chance to catch back up when it comes to farm. Pings now onto that tier 1 turret, and it'll just be Trace hoofing it back to lane.
Yep, rotating up to the top side. Not going to be able to catch a bit of that wave. It's getting ready to crash into the tower. Ambition's there as well. On the top side of the map, we're just going to have a swap back down to this bottom side. Wing, though, making moves. Already got that first Rift Herald in the game. Now they're going to get the first Dragon, soloing it out here as the Lee Sin. So, nicely done by him. Jin Air playing the objective game so far.
Yeah, and Trey's actually going for a really fast Surratt portal. We almost never see this on Korean top laners. In other regions, sometimes people will go for the fast Surratt. Obviously, you will have some additional durability versus this Maokai, but Trace really committing to the split push. And let's see how Kuzan plays this, because they may go for a very heavy 1-3-1, oops, 1-3-1 composition in this particular instance with these itemizations, because Cube is not going to have the easiest time actually clearing out the portal itself. Remember, we are still on patch 6.5, so it isn't like a 5-hit pink ward yet. It is still stacked up with like a gajillion HP.
Yeah, and one of the worst people to try to clear a Surratt portal right now is going to be that Maokai, as far as top laners go.
I really like that that change is coming in, by the way, because that thing has way too much health.
It's so necessary. Cube, though, getting engaged on, might have to flash over the wall. Winged presses onto him, but he gets locked up, and they're just going to pull back, clear out that pink ward in the river, and establish some vision. So Summoner Spell's still being held on to by Cube. And now, lead kind of swinging back into his favor as he has swapped up to that top side of the map. So stretching a little bit ahead of Trace in the numbers. And Trace already backing, so maybe the Surratt portal ready to be completed.
Trace is also...
Nope, stays around.
Oh. Trace, just as a player, when we think about the way that when he plays picks like Graves or when he plays picks like Top Morgana, both of which were his innovations, he likes to play the full press into the enemy turret. I'm going to 1v1 you, shove, shove, shove the minion wave, and chip it away at your tower in the early game. And he's going to be doing it on this Nautilus too. It's not something that other Korean Nautilus players do, but it is in keeping with Trace's play style and how he likes this top lane pressure match to go.
So maybe now gonna channel the recall. Get out of here. No, just keeps getting. I think it keeps getting interrupted by Kuve just throwing saplings on top of it. I was talking about this with Papa. I cannot wait for that Meowkai skin.
I still haven't even seen it, so.
You haven't even looked at it?
No, I haven't looked at it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm holding out for the real surprise.
You just want to wait
in a professional game.
Yeah, just wait until you see it in game.
No, I just forget to look at it when I have the chance. I don't actually care that much.
It's
just
great.
a skin. It's just a skin, Achilleos. Don't you love League of Legends for the purity of the game and the glory of competition, not a tree looking like a cat?
No.
Well, welcome to the masses.
I like it for the $5 dumps of skins that I could get.
All right. Well, stay a pleb then.
Yep. And maybe we'll see some Draven by Arrow. It'll be great.
See, I like the game.
Because this is the way that it works. When Riot pushes out a skin that's going to get an immense amount of popularity, they have to tune the champion up so it sees professional play.
They have to buff it.
Maokai's already getting a buff at 6.6.
Yeah, see?
So Meowkai, perfectly timed.
Maokai doesn't even need a buff right now either. That's the worst part of it. Are you ready for the Maokai takeover?
You know, I've been seeing and hearing a lot about him actually being played as support right now with the changes on 6.6.
Oh,
because he has that scaling MR, so he's just better in lane innately.
And so he would be a very strong engaged support. Obviously, with the saplings, you get that additional vision, at least in the lane, sort of serving as a proxy.
They last longer now, so considerably longer.
Well, they already lasted a pretty long time.
Yeah.
But yes, I can easily see that. It's not like we haven't seen support Maokai in the past, just it was niche.
Yeah. So could be making a return with the changes coming in. But it just means that Draven needs to be buffed up, so you can play Draven. Maybe he gets his bleed back.
If you think about it, though, Maokai's kit is really just designed for support play. He has an AoE damage reduction for your team, and he's just more based around levels.
Two forms of CC.
Yeah.
3 technically with the slow you get from the sapling.
Yeah.
Free vision.
Free vision. It's pretty ridiculous.
Busted champ.
I have to say, I am not shocked that you are telling me that it is more of a support champion in the next patch. As we see the Zerat portal just endlessly spawning little voidlings. And now Ambition, though, he's coming up here. He's tired of these shenanigans with his Rift Herald buff. Just shoves it all the way back. Go, voidlings.
Go, my minions. Destroy their tower. Or just die when you get there.
Just die with it. It's a pressure tactic, though.
Yeah.
He's drawn the ambition. He's drawn the attention of the ambition into the top lane. That's really annoying to do. Let's put your Zerat portal under your turret and endlessly push.
Oh, Janair. Hovering around this bottom side. I don't know if they're going to be able to find anything. Does that pink not see that blue ward, or do they just know that it's there? I can't really tell. Fate's Call, though, wound up. Goes out the Q to try to get it. Flash by Che. Whiffs because the flash from Core JJ comes through. So ultimate and flash for flash on the bot side. Unable to find the pick onto the Corki.
A valiant attempt.
Yep. It was a good try. Gold star for trying.
Look at this. Now Trace can even farm the jungle while pushing the wave. Nice.
You know what would be extra busted is any minions that died to your Zerat portal minions gave you gold. How ridiculous would that be? It's like when you just were able to leave Heimer turrets.
Okay, everybody would build
range.
Zerat portal in that case.
Yep.
100%, because you just like slap them down in every lane. And then you just 5-man group in a different lane.
Combine it with that mastery so you get gold every time you miss.
No!
Oh, that would be...
We're just going to bring back Heart of Gold and Philosopher's Stone then, too.
I would love to have Heart of Gold back in the game. What a great item.
No, it was a terrible item.
It was everything you could possibly want.
Health and money.
Yeah.
That is true. That is actually what most people want in life, health and money.
Have
but
money.
Where's the love?
You don't need love. A love of money. That's the only love you need.
See, taking that approach, huh? Well, I have some bad news for you. You're in the wrong career. Time to go to business school, Achilleos. Goodbye.
Well, it was nice while it lasted. See, though, pretty even. No one really getting any kind of lead. Just that dragon, the only thing that's really separating the teams at the moment. So this is a good lead building up for Kuve in that top side. Trace beginning to fall behind by about 30 CS. Which is good for the Maokai. Because come these big team fights, he's going to be pretty damn tanky.
Yes, the old Jin waiting game.
Yep. Oh, you know what I saw? Because we were talking about this yesterday. The Batman versus Superman and how god-awful the reviews are.
Yep.
Have you ever seen The Room?
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah. It has the same rating as The Room.
Is it that bad, really?
It has... I don't know. I really don't know what Zack Snyder did to butcher this movie beyond belief. But
I think in concept it was pretty terrible.
it just seems like they're trying to cram too much. It's like the Batman versus Superman variety hour. We have Wonder Woman. We have, I'm pretty sure Aquaman's supposed to be in there somewhere.
I mean, I really just have stopped caring about superhero movies in general because they're all such garbage.
Not all of them are garbage. There's some good ones.
X-Men Days of Future Past was like the only good one I've seen in the last 3 years.
I do like First Class. That's pretty good. In that X-Men series.
I don't think that came out in the last 3 years.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm tying off of that.
The genre's pretty much gone to crap.
I'm using Days of Future Past as a bridge to talk about how I like First Class.
We need a new movie genre.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen because all of the superhero movies have been planned up to 2022 or something like that.
Great. Well, if idiots would stop going to see Batman versus Superman, maybe we could put an end to this once and for all. Fight the good fight.
Well, Marvels are at least a bit better than DC's.
No, that latest Avengers movie was terrible.
But
Guardians of the Galaxy was terrible.
I don't know if it's going to be on the level of Batman versus Superman, however.
I don't care. I want them all to go away. And then I want new Star Wars movies to go away. And then I want somebody to create something original. How about a new franchise? Can we just make a new Star Wars already? Somebody creative, please do something in the film industry so we actually have something new to talk about. Stop making sequels.
Oh, Fate's Call pulled out on the court. JJ's taking a lot of damage. Don't think he's going to get out of this one. No, he's not. Who's on with the TP just to support his team morally?
It was a TP for cheering.
Yeah. It's
like, hooray! He should have laughed as soon as he got out of his TP.
I'm coming down here to slap you on the back because you've done a great job. So that's the only advantage that Samsung get out of their AD carry going down is the TP, or the lack thereof, on Kuzan.
Second time.
Oh, Trace getting dove in this top side. Kuve going in with a twisted advance. I think he's going to go down depth charge onto Ambition. Kuve's just a tanky Maokai. And he's going to die, and so is the tower and the Zerat portal. So sad day for Trace.
All right, it's time for you to make the big save, Wing. No, he's not.
Don't do it, please.
He's not going to go in and get W by Maokai. I like the way he plays, not stupidly.
I was going to say intelligently.
Ambition taking away the small Krug. Turret for
success.
turret. Good job from Ambition. Picks up a kill on the opposite side of the map. Picks up the objective to pilot with an early QSS to help himself against the Maokai and the Chain of Corruption.
You know, Midnight Special is supposed to be a good film. That one just came out.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? Oh, looks really good.
All right.
It's got Michael Shannon in it. C-Core JJ.
That's the second time he's died to a Flash Alistair combo this game.
Being manhandled.
It was well executed again.
Oh, yeah.
They timed all their abilities nicely, flashing in with the headbutt pull. But, I mean, realistically, Core could have flashed when he saw the Flash headbutt pull coming at him, and he didn't.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a wind-up time. Wing, though, going deep onto Ambition. Has him down below half HP. He has to flash away. Glacial Fissure used by Wraith to keep him alive. But it's going to be a flash down for the Graves. Nicely played by Winged. Showing off those mechanics.
Ambition has so much money already, though. Taking a look at the items he's managed to acquire, Winged is going for the Randuins. He wants to get into that back line, pop the Randuins onto the 380 carries, and then kick some unfortunate soul right out into the waiting arms of Nautilus.
Yep. And now Kuve
Yeah, but now the
coming out on top of these trades up in the top lane here against Trace.
yeah, but now the Zerat portal isn't looking so hot when you don't have that tier 1 anymore. Pressure advantage is pretty much gone. You can't place it safely anywhere where it can actually hit the enemy tier 1 turret.
Yeah, it's just basically a wave deterrent to the top side to keep the wave away from that tier 2. Not the desired use for it, so.
Do you like dragon stacking?
I love dragon stacking.
So does
It's
Janair.
my favorite thing.
So does Janair, and that's how they're going to try and win this game.
They also love really long series.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Janair experience of sitting around this dragon for forever with a Callista, just waiting to secure that objective with Rend.
Yep.
Nice.
I wonder how many movies or TV shows you could watch by combining all of the Janair games, their times put together.
Why watch a movie when we can watch Kuzan? Our choices are bad superhero movies. I'd rather watch this.
Good point.
Thanks, Hollywood.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of originality lately.
No, it's pretty gone.
A lot of adaptations in the Oscars as well. The Martian, Spotlight.
Spotlight was good.
Yeah. The Danish Girl. All of these.
I haven't seen that one yet. I want to see that.
It's supposed to be really good. I forget what that actor's name is, but he's actually pretty solid. You know, I actually still haven't even seen The Revenant.
Oh, I still haven't seen that either. I want to see it.
I heard The Bear it does a phenomenal performance.
The Bear should have gotten the best actor for sure. Ambition actually going in right there.
Yeah.
Causes Kuzan just to fly over the wall with his E. And now it is time for the dragoning.
But first, line wave clear and Jay getting caught. Has to pop that Alistair ultimate and use the Fate's Call. Redshine goes in onto Ambition, but Trace, not that tanky yet, gets caught out, takes a lot of damage. Wing gets popped up in the air, has to flash away, dashes away, manages to get out with his life, but barely so. And the tier 1 goes down. Samsung on the advance and in a good spot to be able to take out this dragon and get the first for themselves.
Really botched engage from Jinair, having to pull out Che. We shouldn't have seen Trace go in like that because the Fate's Call wasn't going to be there for the follow-up, and Che had already used most of the timer on his ultimate. That may well cost them a tier 2 turret, but they may still get the dragon after this. Nope, they're going to go for the TP.
Yeah, TP
all right.
coming in from Trace on the backside. Could get onto all 5 members here, but Jinair still far away, cannot follow up. And that's just going to be a TP burned out by Trace, so advantage in hands for Kuve now.
Jinair not looking particularly coordinated. They didn't have the follow-up on that as Samsung retreated down the lane. And now they are going to give over, well, maybe.
Wing does something
Wing
to say
really
about
wants to do this, I guess.
Could follow in with the resonating strike, goes in. The dragon still pretty healthy, he actually seals it away, dashes over the wall. Nice Dragon's Rage to say Ambition, you stay in that pit, knocks him back. Crown, meanwhile, taking a lot of damage. Sonic Wave, resonating strike, Winged, gonna find that kill, but Kuzan has fallen on the other side of this fight. Pilot trying to jump around as best as he can and get these kills, stacking up the spears into his targets. Kuve pretty tanky, and Ambition trying to fire back some damage. Finishes off Pilot before he can get the Ren, and now Wing has to clean up. Ambition still pumping out a ton of damage, and Wing goes over the wall to safety. Ambition not going to be able to follow, but a nice stretch line from Trace. Can he follow it up with a kill? Riptide comes out, but he can't finish him off. And that is going to be a 3 for 2 in favor of Samsung, but they lose the dragon.
Winged for president right there. He comes in, snatches away the dragon, hops over the wall with his W, kicks Ambition back in, and still manages to catch Crown and kill him on the backside of the dragon pit. So taking a look at this replay, there's the Q come in, followed by the E, and then takes the dragon, hops over, Ambition tries to come over, Crown fires a nice chain of corruption into the middle, but Kuzan is just going to Actually, Zonia's that. Wings takes the Varus. Now, Pilot here makes a pretty risky play. He QSS's and flashes and decides he's going to go in onto Wraith and ignore Cube. He had to face check that brush due to the pink ward and the lack of vision. Wants to go onto Ambition right here. Ren just doesn't quite finish him off, and Cube comes through with his last little bit of mana to help kill Pilot. Pilot doesn't die right there. That is a massively lost fight for Samsung, so they get the right target. And Winged, I wish he had popped his scanner a little bit sooner and actually tried to finish off Ambition with a Q over the wall, but plays it safe.
Yep. He got enough. He said Winged for president.
Really well played.
Yeah.
And that kept Jin Air's dragon stacking hopes alive, at least dragon stacking hopes in a reasonable time frame.
Yeah.
Samsung is setting up once again for the siege. They are also going to set up for the teleport flank.
They don't have that many wards that are well placed. Oh, there's one right in the middle of the lane, but
Look,
you don't want to go to that one.
The flank wards are really good. Samsung knows how to play these poke compositions. They have pink wards on either side of the lane. They probably swept out down the lane as they were going. So you're right, there are very limited opportunities. And
yeah, he has to go to that one by the Raptor camp.
yeah, as a result, Guzan's just going to say, screw it, I'm going to farm. Good luck clearing these minion waves, guys.
Well, he's backing again, so they might try to go for the play. This tower is taking a lot of damage.
I don't think they can make this play.
I don't think they can hold on to this. They probably
there is a ward there.
Yeah, there's the one in the lane.
Okay.
But he would come down, at the time, he was going to come down inside the team.
If Trace had landed a Q, they probably could have gone for that TP flank, but maybe just best to give up the turret. It's not like Samsung has an enormous advantage or anything like that.
Yeah, it's under 3,000, about 2,500 gold, separating the teams at the moment.
But that's Jin Air in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
They know the right play to make. They set up for it, but unless it's really, really likely to work, they frequently won't pull the trigger. It has been a bit off this game. I think Trace was too hasty with his TP in the last fight, so they look less coordinated than normal. Still in this one, no big problems. They have, and they get to that late game stage where Pilot just becomes unkillable if he has Maw and Sterix alongside the Hurricane, and he can just grind his way through these team fights.
Yep. Still just has to be careful about the lockdown potential from Cuvée, just twisted advance onto him, and Corki will still have a good amount of burst. So
it's all right, he has Scimitar.
They could blow him up.
He's good.
But
he's got the lifesteal.
Yeah, he's been playing this pretty well. Only went down in that last fight because Cuvée actually did get on top of him, and he'd already used the Scimitar, or at least the QSS.
Oh,
okay.
That was a rare miss actually from Crown.
It was also really aggressive going against
Well,
Shay,
you'll trade the chain
ultimate.
of corruption for the Alistair ultimate for
That's
sure.
True. Very true. But you can see already Dragon getting ready to spawn would be the 4th of the game for Jin Air. And they certainly want that. So 5-4. Skirmish heavy fight, not too many kills coming out of it. I mean, hell, we saw more kills than there were minutes in games yesterday. Not quite going to be the case this time around.
No, I don't think it will be that much of a bloodbath.
Oh, wow, yep. This is just full annoying Nautilus build. Banner of Command with a Zerat portal.
I love it.
Trace is just trying to be the biggest thorn in the ass of Samsung.
They know that they have this big advantage with the split push. Maokai trying to work his way through there with the Sunfire Cape and his AoE, but he has to burn a lot of mana to do that. And they're never, especially because Samsung's playing a siege composition, if they start grouping up in one lane like they want to as 5 people, now they have to deal with a bannered minion and a Lysandra pushing down another lane, and that's just something that will prevent them from grouping and sieging like they want to. So I think what Trace is doing with the early Zerat and the early banner is highly effective. And like I said, we do see this frequently in like the LCS regions and non-Korea, but we almost never see this in Korea, this early on in the game at least. Winged with the QSS now. He's going for it. It's full utility Lee Sin. Ruby Sidestone, he needs even more wards to hop to. This is a very interesting playmaking Lee Sin build coming through here. He didn't go for the cooldown boots though. That would be the maximum, maximum number of plays to be made.
Well, you have to have a tracker's knife as well. Get that one extra.
No, that's crap.
Yeah, wouldn't be very good.
I like the chilling smite so you can set up your plays if you have the sight stone.
It's good. We can see though, Samsung burst down the dragon, so 5th dragon hopes to delay that much further for Jin Air.
Ooh, that's a pretty major blow.
Yeah, that'd be 46 minutes for a 5th dragon. So for Jin Air standards, quite possible.
Average game time about 42 minutes for the Jin Air Green Wings. So this is going to be a battle of Samsung never really being able to group as a result of Trace's build, and Jin Air struggling to find TP flanks as Samsung controls the vision and clears these wards pretty effectively.
I think Trace is just trying to piss Kuve off because he bought the 2 things that Kuve cannot work through very easily. Banner of Command
That's so
and
annoying.
Surround Portal. It's like, all right, you want to play Maokai? I'm going to make this a hard time for you.
Just the tilt Cuve strategy through itemization. See. Nice.
Tilt him off the planet. Yeah, so far, not many tower takes here for the side of Jin Air either. Haven't been able to get onto that mid-tier 1 yet, so it still stands here at 36 minutes coming on the clock in just a little bit. So see how much longer it takes them to actually knock that one down.
More Zerat's portals, and he puts it right next to the turret too. So no aggressive placement, maximum security, just keeping that minion wave right about at the river and no further. That's where Trace draws the line.
Don't want to overextend.
Well, it's just annoying for a siege composition that would love to be able to push out and just group.
Yeah.
Because them grouping without the Maokai means that Winged is going to be able to make the big plays on them. They need somebody to root the Lee Sin or peel if he tries to come in. Otherwise, they're sitting ducks if they try and set up for a siege.
Ooh, Chang. Really far in here. One more hit would stun him up. Nice Fate's Call, drags him out. That's going to open up the mid tower, so just under 36 minutes. That was close. And it does go down.
They will beat a hasty retreat. Banner of Command available again.
And they are just keeping this game within 100 gold of each other.
They can actually make a play right here. You can see the Lissandra is waiting. They still have the Alistar ultimate.
There's so many wards this time for Kuzan to go to. He's got a few in the jungle on the right side, up the lane. They just cleared out that pink, however, so he can't go to that one. But there's still a couple. But Samsung...
Oh, they're going to go for it, I think.
They're going to group up and try to chunk this out. Poor JJ already laying down an immense amount of damage. He's coming in really far behind. They have to chase him straight down the lane. Jay goes in, pops up in mission, takes a bit of damage. Alistar ultimate has to get popped. Glacial Fissure has been laid down, trying to zone him out. Crown goes to the backside, or Kuzan goes to the backside, locks down Crown, but he cleanses it off immediately, flashes the wall, but he still goes down. Pilot finalizes the kill, and Pilot is still insanely healthy on this Kalista, trying to work through Kuve, but here comes Ambition, showing up huge with the damage. They lock him up, and Pilot goes down. That's an ace now going over to Samsung. Crown, the only person that dies.
Kuzan ulted onto Crown when he had the cleanse up, and that meant that it was a little bit of a waste right there. They're going to win the game off of that little team fight because Kuzan was not there when the rest of his team engaged and chose a very poor target to ultimate. Oh, wow. That was sudden.
Yeah, there was even closer wards that he could have gone to maybe get onto core JJ, but comes in way too far back. The home guards only gets him in for Kuzan, or for Crown. And he just gets popped, and that's going to be game 1, 37.5 minutes on the clock. Samsung with a very concise victory off the backside of that fight. It was neck and neck that whole time.
I'm just really surprised at the ward that Kuzan decided to TP on right there.
He had so many options.
That was really bizarre, and yes, they did split them up, and they got the kill on the Crown relatively quickly because Pilot flashed into the back line, but they just weren't able to pick up enough, and the rest of them were too tanky at the end of that fight because the Lissandra ult was effectively wasted. It would have been much better just to save it and use it on himself later in the fight. All he had to do was walk in and W to force the cleanse out, then Pilot could have flashed to finish up the kill on the Crown, and then they could have re-engaged by having the Lissandra ult available, but instead, wow, that was not good team fighting from Jin Air.
No, not at all. Rough stuff coming in here.
Kuzan is normally a great Lissandra player too, looked off this game.
Yeah, I mean, all of Jin Air looked pretty off in that game. Not really playing cohesively. Trace with that early Zarot portal, losing the tower, just not able to pressure out, having to play safe with that the entire time. It was just really bizarre by Jin Air. The only person that looked pretty consistent was Pilot, but then the rest of his team was just collapsing around him, and he just got picked in those fights.
And also, the fact that Trace had the most damage dealt to champions of any player on his team as top lane Nautilus. Problematic. Ambition, though, again, showing up on that Graves. I think if you're going to ban the Diddley and the Kindred, just please ban the Graves, too. Take it away. He's too good on the Graves. He played very well in those team fights. He found the farm once again. He was making great cross-map dives onto Trace to pick up kills and turrets, and he did his work.
Yep, good game by Samsung. We'll be back in just a few with your